Hey everyone, my name is Ritvik Tuteja, and today we're going to talk about how do you make the best first impression. Of course, first impressions are the most important thing in any human relationship. Today, if you come meet me and then you exit, the first thing you're going to tell somebody about me is the first impression that I made on you. The first thing you're going to think about me is again the first impression that you have on me. So, let's talk about how do you make the first impression and how do you make that first impression matter for a lifetime. The first thing that you got to do, and that's point number one, is have a flooding smile. By having a flooding smile, I mean that whenever you go out to meet somebody for the first time or whenever you meet someone over a repeated amount of time, you gotta smile. You gotta show the person that that person matters to you, that person is important, and that person has some kind of credibility in your mind for him. Well, you need to show people that you are actually happy to meet them, and you genuinely need to be happy from within when you're meeting someone. Now, when I say carry a flooding smile, I don't mean grin all the time like that. No, you don't grin. You smile. Because when you grin, people are going to think that you do this for everybody and that they don't really matter to you. And of course, it's going to look like you're faking the expression. So, of course, do not fake it, but make it happen naturally. So, carry a flooding smile and look genuine in your approach when you're meeting someone for the first time, or as I said, when you're meeting someone over a period of time. That's point number one. Point number two is always maintain a very strong eye contact. Eye contact is one of the very important elements in any forms of communication, whether verbal or non-verbal. Well, good eye contact just shows how interested you are in what the person is speaking or how interested you are in communicating your own expressions to somebody else. So always maintain a good eye contact. Well, another phrase for it is called always carry sticky eyes. Sticky eyes means always have a very strong eye contact and always maintain that eye contact. Keep it strong. If you're talking to me right now, you got to look into my eyes and talk to me. You got to tell me whatever you want by looking into my eyes. Well, looking away from me and talking to me just shows that you're not confident in what you're saying to me and that you're actually afraid or you have some kind of a fear. So don't have any kind of fears or don't be afraid when you're talking to somebody. Maintain eye contact and talk to the person. Well, if you're actually afraid of maintaining an eye contact over a long period of time, well, you can do this. Instead of looking directly into the eyes of the person, look at the person's nose or look at the person's forehead. Now, when you do this, the person actually thinks that you're looking into his or her eyes, whereas you're actually trying to maintain the eye contact in your own comfort zone. Like I said, you got to be comfortable in every form of communication. So, maintain the eye contact and keep it strong always for a successful relationship and for a successful communication with everyone. Okay? The third thing you got to do is you got to actually focus on your body language. Body language is the most important thing after eye contact in communication. Well, your body language talks more than your verbal skills. As we all know, actions speak louder than words. So you could be saying something right now, but you could actually be thinking something else, and that shows in your body language. And let me tell you one thing, body language can actually be read louder than your words that you speak, right? Body language can be read louder than the words that you speak. So, always have a very good body language. By that I mean, make sure that you're looking enthusiastic and make sure that you are actually understanding everything that the person is trying to tell you while you're communicating. Another way of non-verbal communication through your body language is actually the position of your feet. In this case, when a person, you can actually understand this. When a person is sitting face to face with you, how do you know if he's actually interested in what you're saying? Just look at his or her feet. If the person's feet are pointing straight at you, it means the person is actually listening to you very intently. If the person's feet are, well, they're diverted elsewhere, or they're towards the exit, or let's say that's not towards you, it just means that the person is not listening to you completely. He's maybe, or she is maybe interested in something else, and your conversation doesn't make sense, or maybe it doesn't matter to that person. So, well, just make sure that body language is actually maintained by you and by the other person when they're talking or listening. One more thing about body language I'd like to tell you is the way you keep your hands. Now, people who generally fold their hands and sit this way, they are actually closing their body. They're trying to show you that, hey, look, you're not important. Or they're just trying to show you, hey, look, I'm not comfortable talking to you. So, if you want to actually look responsive and you want to look genuine when you're communicating with someone and look open, well, you got to keep your hands open. You got to keep your body open and you got to keep your mind open. That's the most important thing when you're communicating with somebody. You want to make someone feel comfortable, you got to feel comfortable yourself. It all starts with you and then it reflects on the quality of the communication you have with someone else. Okay? Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is do not fidget. That's the next point. That's the fourth point of today. Do not fidget. People have the habit of fidgeting repeatedly in whatever they do when they're communicating. For example, if we are having a conversation right now, you start fidgeting just because maybe you're bored or maybe you're just not interested. Well, remember one thing. If you want to have a good conversation with somebody, you need to, well, you very much need to make sure that you do not fidget at all. Fidgeting could include scratching your body or scratching your hand or touching your face or touching your neck or just moving around and just swaying your body. Well, that actually distracts the speaker when he's speaking to you. And if you are the speaker in this case and your listeners actually observing your body language, well, he's going to be distracted. He's going to be, what's wrong with this person? Why is he fidgeting so much? Or why is she fidgeting so much? Is he or she uneasy? Am I making the person feel uneasy? So, well, remember, anything you do with your body language and with your voice or verbal skills actually affect the quality of the communication you're having. You don't know. Maybe you're communicating something right now, and the very next moment, the communication ends. Why? Because, well, it's all about your body language. And now, coming to the point about fidgeting, just don't fidget. Well, when we talk about fidgeting, one more thing I'd like to tell you, it goes on to the body language. So, when you actually touch your neck or when you actually touch your chin, so if I'm talking to you and I'm doing this, it actually means that I'm actually not being honest with you. That's one part of body language that I like to tell you. That when people are actually touching their neck or touching their chin and they're actually not interested in what they're saying, it means they're actually lying to you or they're actually giving you half facts because they don't want you to know the whole story. And that happens a lot of times. Well, if it hasn't happened with you, go out, meet some more people, and you'll definitely come across these signs that I'm talking about right now, right? The next thing we're going to talk about is using your hands while communicating. Well, many people like to use their hands when they communicate. Using your hands brings out the best form of speech from within yourself. Well, when you use your hands, don't think it's a distraction. Don't think you're actually distracting someone by using your hands. In fact, when you're using your hands, you're trying to express yourself better. You're trying to come out with better vocabulary. You're trying to come out with better voice. You're trying to come out with a better meaning to what you're saying. So you don't need to doubt yourself when you're actually using your hands and think it's actually a distraction. Well, overusage of your hands, yes, that is a distraction. But that generally does not happen, even if you're trying to emphasize on what you're trying to say. That never happens. So, well, use your hands to communicate because that brings out the best out of you. That brings out the best out of your expressions. And sometimes you are actually understood better with your body language. That's by moving your hands and expressing yourself in the right way. The next thing I want to talk about, now people talk about this a lot, and I'm going to talk about it now. That's the sixth point of the day, and that is dress to impress. Let me tell you one thing. Yes, it is important to dress well. It's important to look good. We all like to look good. Look at me. Now if I don't dress well and I come and meet somebody, of course I'm going to be a little, I'm just going to feel a little off place. And that happens with everybody. If we are underdressed, we feel nervous. If we are overdressed, we feel that what have we done? Like we are dressed better than someone else, and that's going to just affect our conversation that we're going to have. Let me tell you one thing: when you want to dress, just dress as per your comfort level. If you're not comfortable dressing in formals, dress casually. Dress what you actually feel comfortable in, and dress according to the situation. If you're going for a job interview, that doesn't mean you wear casual and go. Of course not. You need to dress decently. At least have a formal shirt and maybe jeans if you want to go in smart formals. Or make sure that you have a formal set of trousers and a formal shirt with good formal shoes. That's it. Keep it simple. You don't need to put on a blazer or a jacket, and you don't need to put on a tie just to look impressive. Well, I tell you what, looks are deceptive. So someone who's actually overdressed himself and come might actually not perform as per his potential or as per what you expect him to perform. But someone who may not be dressed very well, but he's just dressed enough to look good, that person might actually excel in the way he's talking. Why? Because he's actually dressed in his comfort zone. So dress in your comfort zone so that you can impress everybody in their zones. That's the best way to go about with it. Okay? And the last thing that I'm going to talk about is the most important skill in communication that is not generally emphasized on by many people, and that is the skill and the art of listening. Well, so far, I have been the one who's talking, you've been the one who's been listening. So let me tell you, listening is an art, listening is a skill. You need to develop the skill in yourself. When you meet someone for the first time, the person is not going to marvel about or be like, wow, just because of the amount of stuff you're talking. The person is going to be, wow, when he sees or she sees the amount of patience you have, when that person sees how you actually listen to them. Because let me tell you, good listeners are always the best speakers. So you need to develop your art of listening, and you need to listen well so that you can deliver better, right? People who actually attend a lot of sessions, a lot of seminars, a lot of talks, and they end up being the listener actually deliver the best speeches in the world. You take anyone's example for that matter, whether you take Barack Obama or you take anyone else for that matter, these people at one point of time have been very good listeners. And even in today's day, they still are very, very good listeners. So, well, let me tell you, you need to be an extraordinary listener in order to be an exemplary communicator, right? Because let me tell you, listening, you are silent, but you're actually absorbing a lot. And when you absorb a lot, you deliver much more. You deliver much more in your standards as per your specifications. So, this is exactly how we deliver and how we make ourselves expressive and much better and have a very good impression on the first time. So, let's take a review of all of this once again. I'm going to talk about it. You need to have a flooding smile. You need to have excellent eye contact. You need to have very good body language, like I emphasized before. Well, do not fidget. That's the fourth point I mentioned. Use your hands to communicate. Don't worry about it. Just use your hands, right? The sixth thing, dress to impress. As I said, dress to impress as a person. Don't dress to impress just the way you look. As I said, you need to dress comfortably so that you can deliver the best to the people around you. Okay? And the last thing, as I said, listen. When you listen well, you deliver better. Okay? So today we come to our end of the session. Thank you for listening, and see you next time in our next session. Thank you.